Hello everyone, Sandrak here. So in today's video I want to talk about the new weapon that I'll be getting for free. Now this is going to be the new 4-star polearm, not the new 4-star fish claymore. That one I'll be talking about it in a different video. Now for those of you who don't know, there is actually going to be two weapons that will be given out for free. Both of them are going to be given out at R5 and they're both 4 stars. The fish claymore, which I forgot the name of, is going to be given out as part of the 2.1 event during one of the events. Whereas this one, the polearm 4-star, is going to be given out as part of the fishing event or just related to the fishing. I don't know exactly how they will be given out yet, but it's going to be related to a fishing, either an event or a quest or something like that. And you'll be able to slowly acquire a specific material like all the other freely given out weapons to use that material to level up, refine the weapon up to refinement 5 by the end of 2.1. So of course, with that said, before we get started, just one more announcement. There is a Baal giveaway that is going on right now. All you have to do is check out the link in the description below to enter. Now of course, the entering is you go to that video and you like, comment and subscribe. With that said, let's get started. So for the polearm itself, the stats are not the best, the base stats, but the passive is very good. And of course, conclusions first, this one will be one of the best free-to-play weapons on Baal, even among 4 stars. And at 4-star R5 is probably going to beat out Skyward Spine in terms of damage. Of course, R1 Skyward Spine. And this one is mostly going to be useful on Baal or Shanling. So if you are not using any of these two characters and you're not pulling for Baal at the moment, this weapon won't be too much useful for you. With that said, let's get started. So the stats progression first. At level 1, we're looking at 42 base attack and 10 energy recharge. This is basically mirroring the stats of the starter type prototype Star Glitter, which also has 42 base attack and 10 energy recharge. 42 is among the lower end of the base attack in terms of weapons, because weapon for polearms, at least 4 stars, we're generally looking at 44 to 41 in terms of base attack. So this is on the lower end. However, the good thing about this is, again, the passive sort of makes it up. At level 90, this one has 510 base attack, which is again on the lower end, and 45.9 energy recharge, which is very good. Because comparably, Favonius Lance, which is sitting at 44 base attack, one of the highest ones, instead it's looking at 565 base attack at level 90 and only 30.6 energy recharge. So in turn, it's raising 50 base attack, and in turn sacrificing 15% energy recharge, which is pretty huge. So this is good for what's it doing, especially for Shanling and Baal. Both of them will be needing to stack on more energy recharge, so it's useful. And on top, Baal can convert energy recharge into electro damage bonus, so the extra is way more welcome than base attack. And of course, 50 base attack is not too much of a difference compared to the very useful, especially for Baal energy recharge stats. So moving on to its passive. Increase elemental burst damage by 16% and increase elemental burst crit rate by 6%. This is at R1, and of course, because this one will be given out for free to R5, so I only want to focus on the R5 one. And per all weapon tradition, R5 is basically R1's number but doubled. So in this case, increase elemental burst damage by 32% and elemental burst crit rate by 12%. Now for those of you who have been playing since patch 1.2, you might find this weapon very familiar. And if you know what I mean, you know what I mean. So let's take a look why it's familiar. If you go into the list of weapons you have, if you have been playing since 1.2, and you go into the Festering Desire, you'll find some very shocking similarities between this one and the Festering Desire. So for the Festering Desire, we're also looking at 42 base attack and 10 energy recharge at level 1. At level 10, we're also looking at 510 base attack and 45.9% energy recharge. And even more crazy, the numbers are exactly the same for the passive as well. The only difference is that for Festering Desire, it's yielded towards elemental skill, whereas for the catch, it's yielded towards elemental burst. So of course, with that said, Festering Desire works best on someone like Albedo, whose primary damage source is their elemental skill, and the catch works best on someone who is like Baal and Shanling, whose primary damage bonus is on their Q. Now, of course, with that said, I still want to go over the other characters really quick and showing you why this weapon is not exactly the best for them in terms of course, damage. But overall, this as a ER weapon could be generally used as just ER weapon because of its high ER. However, again, if you want to utilize the passive very well, then Shanling and Baal are the two characters to look into. In Shanling's case, because her Pyronado is counted as her ult, and that is her main source of damage. And in Baal's case, because after the 7 seconds of her ult, when she is doing damage in Katana form, that also counts as her ult damage, so that's also why it's going to be very nice on Baal. Now let's go over the other polearm characters. There actually aren't a lot in Genshin so far. So the reason Hu Tao can use it is because Hu Tao's main source of damage is E, not her Q. If you're building one-shot kill Hu Tao with her Q, then yeah, you can use this. Rosaria's case, Rosaria doesn't really need energy recharge. Furthermore, Rosaria is better built for something like Crescent Pike if you're going for physical damage, and even if you build ER, her Q is not really her main source of damage, it's more like her E. So in that case, Rosaria can use it, but first of all, Rosaria is not meta, and second of all, this weapon is not specifically geared towards her. In Xiao's case, I believe that the Q does not account for the entire duration of his Anemo effusion, so this is not why this is not useful on him. As well as the energy recharge would help with his 70 energy Q cost. As for Zhongli, of course, 40 energy cost, he doesn't really need that. And on top of that, in Zhongli's case, unless you're building the build I'm going with, which is the burst DPS build, so you have a okay shield, not the strongest shield, but you focus a little bit more on burst damage. So unless you're going that build, Zhongli is best with just a Favonius lance or something that can generate particles reliably, so he can just spam his Q and control the field. So overall, the catch, or I'm going to refer to as the fishfork, is going to be a very good weapon if you're looking at pulling Baal. If not, Shanling can definitely use this very well. Personally, I don't like the aesthetics very much. I don't like the double fork. However, overall, it is going to be one of the better polearms out there, mainly because that it is very balanced in the sense that it has not the highest base attack, but it has a very strong secondary stats. On top of that, the passive works very well to sort of push whoever's using this into a sub DPS, or in Baal's case even a temporary DPS position. And with all of these added, it's more suited because currently there are no really just polearm supports in the game, so this weapon is really suited for quite a lot of polearm users, even though, as I've explained before, for characters like Hu Tao and Xiao, even though it's usable on some forms of them, but overall this one is going to be best abused by Baal and Shanling. Now before we end, just want to quickly go over the materials you need to prep for these. So the weapon essential material will be the masks dropped by, I believe, on Wednesdays and Saturdays on the Inazuma weapon essential domain. The open mob material are the chaos gear dropped by any of the new ruin level enemies. You can find quite a bit of them on the map. If you want to look them up, there are specific locations and guides to follow. As for the secondary mob material, this you cannot farm yet. It's called Spectral Husk. These are dropped by the new boss, by the new mobs, the I forgot what they're called, the Spectres, I believe. The Geo, Hydro, and the Anemo ones, these are going to come in patch 2.1, so you can't start farming them yet. So all you have to do is go on to the weapon domain on Wednesdays and Saturdays to farm the masks, and also make sure you have killed enough of the new Abyss, new Ruin level enemies, other than Ruin Guards and Ruin Hunters, and Ruin Graders. Other than those three, the rest will drop these Chaos gears that you will need. So that's all I have for you today. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this weapon. Thank you very much for watching again, and have a nice day.